I was listening to what's that? The show by Slick Rick and Dougie Fresh. Oh my God. Yeah, so anyways, what's up, y'all? It is Wednesday. And I'm recording late today because look, there was so much going on today that I did not want to record early and then be like, dang, this happened, that happened. I got old information, and then put out a dated podcast when it's, you know what, I can just wait till this evening when pretty much everything has happened and everything has stopped, and I can just talk about it. But anyways, what are we talking about today, man? So we have social media is not free speech. Then we're gonna like pivot into big tech. Then we're gonna take that and pivot into insurrection outrage. Then we're gonna take a total 180 and get into some NBA culture stuff with Kyrie Irving, James Harden, and the NBA COVID protocols. There's not going to be any NFL on this stream today. If you'd like to hear any of my NFL stuff, you can still catch it on the actual podcast stream, Big Baby's podcast stream. The link is below to that, and I'll have my boy Najee B on the NFL Hour this week, and we're going to talk some good NFL stuff. But anyways, hey, it's the Big Baby, and I'm back. I told y'all, man, the hiatus was over. Welcome back. I told y'all I was back from hiatus. I told y'all the hiatus was over. I'm back to recording at least one part a week, probably two, maybe a few. It doesn't matter. And what I mean back, starting next week, I'm going to have guests back on the pod. You won't see my face, just me by myself on here alone. I don't think, because not based on the way my schedule is looking. We're going to have guests, some interviews. We're going to be talking some good stuff. So, hey, be on the lookout for it. Y'all know I'm a content factory, baby, and we back open. Yeah, COVID slowed us down. You know, we had to make some layoffs. You know, get the PPP loan just to make sure that we could pay all of our employees. But now we back function like a well-oiled machine, baby, and this conveyor belt is moving. All right, here we go. Social media, man. Social media is not free speech. As much as we like to make it free speech, it is not free speech. Because guess what? You can go out anywhere else and say whatever it is that you want to publicly. But if a social media platform doesn't want you on there, they are not restricting your free speech. They're restricting your ability to use their platform. But hey, it's a private company. They can do that. It's a business. It's a platform. It is a medium in which we conduct speech. It is a conduit for our free speech, but social media in and of itself is not free speech. So whether your account gets suspended, blocked, disabled, they have the right to do that because it is not free speech. Guess what? My Instagram handle is free Big Baby the Goat right now. Why? Because Big Baby the Goat got banned from Instagram. Goddamn, got banned from Instagram. Free Big Baby the Goat. It's been over a year and a half and we still yelling free Big Baby the Goat. We gonna yell it till it's I forgot what they said. We gonna keep yelling free Big Baby the Goat until Big Baby the Goat is free. But I say all of that to say, bro, you can't be mad if they kick you off. If they don't like what you're doing, all right, bye. I don't need your business. It's just like any other business. No shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service. Same, boss. But we love to tell people, hey, don't tell me what to do with my business. But the second they doing something in their business that we don't like, we gonna tell them what to do. How about you do this? Mind your business. You ever thought about just minding your damn business and letting people do what they're gonna do? And guess what? If Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, whatever that app is, decides to silence too many people, people are gonna get enough of it. They're gonna get outraged and they're gonna leave the apps. And guess what happens when the people leave the apps? The revenue dollars dry up because there's less people on the apps, less ads. That ad space goes elsewhere and they become the new big thing. So sometimes we just have to let the market correct things. I get you. I don't like people being silenced. And I think some people need to be silenced. And I'm evolving on this because at one point where I said, you know what, people should be able to say whatever they want to say, and then they have to deal with the consequences. But when you live in the world and you start to see consequences happen to those who did not commit any foul acts, and the ones who committed the foul acts do not have to bear the consequences, then you have to say, maybe we need to change our approach. And I'm not one to say that I'm right about everything. I'm not one to say that I'm right about most things. What I am is someone who's willing to question things, have an opinion, but once I get new information, I change my mind. Why? Because I'm a progressive individual. I'm a human being, and I'm not going to be tied to a belief today that I believed yesterday, because what happened between today and yesterday? Things change, information changed, my perspective changed, and so should yours. If you find yourself thinking the same way that you thought 10 years ago, that's a problem. If you find yourself being comfortable being tied to a take or a belief or a point of view or a perspective, I want to challenge you to challenge yourself. Expose yourself to different things. So maybe your perspective changes. And with your change of perspective, you look at things differently. But let's get back to where we're at. Hey, social media is not free speech. It is just a means. It is a platform. And guess what? Like I said earlier, no shirt, no shoes, no mask, no service. If you do not conduct yourself on social media in a way that the owners of that platform deem necessary, deem okay, then guess what? You're off. Tough. Make a burner. Or you know what? Better yet, be nicer. Guess what happened to me after I got kicked off social media for some of the stuff that I did, which I thought was hot garbage, by the way, hot garbage for what I got kicked off of social media for, or Instagram for. But I developed a filter. I said, you know what? In order for me to continue living on this platform, I have to change the way that I act, because it's not acceptable, and I want to continue using this platform. But that does get into the argument of big tech and all the power that these big tech companies have. Think about it. Facebook owns Instagram and WhatsApp. How much impact does that have on the world? Twitter CEO is buying up other different companies. Look at what Amazon owns. You know what I mean? Like, look at this, what this technological imprint does on our life. This thing right here, this controls my life. I am hardly anything without this. I ain't gonna say I'm nothing without it, because I got some skills that I can make some stuff happen without the phone, but shit. Whew. Without this little piece of metal right here, what am I? And what are you? So big tech has a lot of control over what we do, who we talk to, what we consume, our thoughts, our actions. Like these technology companies really control us. Look at the algorithms, man. It's crazy when you think about the algorithms. You can be around somebody. They can be Google searching stuff all day or looking at certain things on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever the case may be. And just because you're around them, it now pops into your algorithm. Bruh, I'm not even interested in that stuff, man. I'm not interested in it at all. And it almost feels like they hear what we say, then they throw it into our algorithm. Or they read our text and they throw it into our algorithm. And we found out that websites were selling, Facebook, this website I'm on right now, was selling our information to companies without us knowing. Do I agree with that? No. Like, bro, if you're going to sell my info, tell me, please, ask me. And now they do that. But don't get me wrong. I also feel like Big Brother's always watching, and I don't even know who Big Brother is. Big Brother might be big tech. But we're seeing more people have issues with big tech because big tech get to pick and choose who they silence. And in that, it appears that big tech is only silencing the people who have views that are contradictory to theirs. You think of some of the major people who are no longer able to utilize certain technology applications, you look at their views, you look at their stances, and you go, wow, they're pretty extreme. And they don't align with maybe what these companies stand on. And again, I struggle with it because who the hell are the tech companies to tell us what we can put out and what we can circulate? Who are they to tell us that that one thing is more toxic than another thing? One thing is more deadly than another thing. Is this a results-based decision, or is it an ideology-based decision? And I tell you, that's where it gets scary, but we start looking for the answer, and what is the answer? How do you regulate tech? How? Hell, they're smarter than the government. That's what makes tech so, that's what makes them so rich. That's why they're doing what they do, because they're smarter than the rest of us, man. They're freaking smart. And a lot of us aren't smart enough to do what they do, which is why we consume it and they make money off of us. No knock on you. Good for them. Do you really expect, like, do we trust the government to properly regulate tech? I know they regulate some industries in a way that works for us as human beings, a way that gives us peace of mind. But I'm asking you, because I don't know, what is the answer for these tech companies? Because it appears that they have the most influence over our life. And then I'm curious, why do we have an issue with the influence they have over our lives? Is it bad? Are they negatively affecting our lives? Or are we just upset that we don't feel like that we are in control? I'm willing to argue that we've probably never been in control of our thoughts once we had access to media. Because the media uses their influence to dictate what it is that we think. They pick and choose what they're going to put on the headlines, what they're going to put on their platforms, and that's what we consume. And based off what we consume, that's where we build our principles. That's where we build our thoughts day to day. And guess what? That's media manipulation, and we see that now. But because it's social media manipulation, it's tech company manipulation, we seem to have an issue with it. Is it that we have an issue with being manipulated, or is it that we have an issue with the manipulator? So is it that we don't want to be puppets in this game that we call life, or maybe that we don't want to be Sims? Because it's almost like we're playing a game of Sims, right? And the media, or now the tech company, social media, are the humans playing with it and dictating what it is that we do. Or is it that, hey, bro, I don't want to be Pinocchio on the string by Geppetto. I want to be Pinocchio, the real boy. I don't know. And JJ, yeah, I agree with you. On one end, that big tech is one of the worst things that happened to this country. But on another thing, I'm like, man, big tech gives me so much. It makes my life easy. It allows me the opportunity to talk to people all across the world. It allows me to live on my phone and do anything that I need to do from this little device right here. I can get on this laptop right here and talk to people anywhere. But I still struggle, because here it is. If I'm going to be a puppet, make sure my strings are invisible and I can't see my puppeteer or my puppet master, you know. Here it goes. Let me play The Sims, because I feel like in The Sims think that they're controlling their lives, right? I think the Sims think they're controlling their lives. Little do they know they're being controlled by someone by a computer. Shout out to the Sims players. But I don't want to be no puppet. Let me be a Sims, right? Let me simulate what it is that I'm calling life, so I feel like I'm controlled even if I'm not. But we have to find a way to regulate tech, because if not, they're going to keep regulating us. I told you, man, I don't like them strings. Don't control me. Let's see, where we at now? Insurrection Outrage. So a week ago, we had an insurrection in this country. We had an attempted coup d'etat. Yes, that's what it was. It was an insurrection. It was a coup. Attempted coup. Failed coup. It was not a protest. It was not a protest. And one more time, it was not a protest. It was an attempt to physically override election results from the American people. It was a deliberate attack on democracy right in our faces. And some of us had an issue with it. Some of us were outraged by this insurrection. And then others of us were outraged that people were outraged at insurrection. And that's what has me outraged today. Boy, this is an outrageous rant, ain't it? Now just think about this. How can you be more bothered by the response to an insurrection than the insurrection itself? You call yourself a blue-blooded, red-blooded, black-blooded, white-blooded, pink-blooded, I don't give a damn what color-blooded American. And you're more upset with people being upset that our American principles were attacked than the people who were attacking our American principles. What does that say about you? What does that say about where you stand? And a lot of these people come from the law and order side of the house. You know, we're Americans. This is our Constitution. We want our rights. A Second Amendment. I want my guns. Freedom of speech. I want to be able to talk. I want to be able to openly discriminate against people however I feel. But damn, you forget about the rest of the Constitution, don't you? I think that's what we do, because in civics, we discuss the Bill of Rights, and that's about it. We don't get into the other articles of the Constitution. But hey, you got a resident political science major here. I think that diploma, wrong way, that diploma right there, that one right there, gives me a little bit of authority to speak on the Constitution. Just a little bit. So let's read Article 14, Section 3. No person shall be a senator or representative in Congress or elector of president and vice president or hold any office, civil or military, under the United States or under any state who, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States or as a member of any legislature or any executive judicial officer of any state to support the Constitution of the United States shall have engaged in insurrection or rebellion against the same, or given aid or comfort to the enemies thereof. But Congress may, by a 2/3 of each house, remove such disability. So guess what that says? Let me tell you what that says. You can't serve this country if you're trying to kill this country. And I mean, that makes sense, doesn't it? You can't work for me if you're trying to kill me. Would you hire somebody who tried to kill you? Maybe you say, oh, I can keep them up under my thumb and make sure. No, because now they're on the inside. They get to see your daily workers, and guess what? Ha! You're off. You're gone. So what's new here? You got members of Congress, members of other branches of government, members of other governmental agencies openly defying the Constitution. And here's where it gets worse. They think it's okay. And they are not even looking at the Constitution to be put out of their positions of power. It goes, oh no, it's a time for healing. We can't be divided. What did AOC say? Hold on. And look here. I'm not like the big AOC fan, you know. I get that a lot of people don't like Miss Ocasio-Cortez because she has a lot to say. But on this particular point, I'm rocking with her. Forgive me, because I thought I had the quote pulled up. But what did you got people really trying to cause harm or danger to those in power and then stay in power? Like she said, she felt like she where are we at now, man? Well, look here, damn it, I can't find it, and I don't want to keep stuttering and all of that. But long story short, we can't heal without consequences, without accountability. There we go. We got to hold people accountable for their actions. Because guess what? When you're a little child and you're getting in trouble, right? Your parents may love you and they may want you to move on and heal from whatever it is that you're doing wrong. But guess what? You get put on punishment. You may have got a whooping. You may have got something taken away. You may have got grounded. You may not get to go somewhere where you wanted to go. They may have took the car keys, took your phone, took something, right? And that's how you learn. If we just gonna brush stuff under the rug because it's like, oh well, we got to get past this. We got to move forward. This is America. It happened. We're better than this. Well, yeah, maybe we are better than this, but these people aren't. Maybe as a whole we're better. But these people here, they're not. They're part of the problem. And if we continue to allow these people who are part of the problem be our solution, well, shit. We're on a highway to hell. And we're supposed to be Christians. Not all of us. I'm just saying, how can you be Christians, but you're on a highway to hell? If that makes any sense, right? I'm trying to, make a little stuff happen here. But that's what I see, man. And I see that our allegiance is to a damn donkey and an elephant more than it is to the red, white, and blue. And I get we all have our own personal interests that will always supersede the interest of the whole. You read a little bit of Hobbes, a little bit of Locke, you learn that people are inherently evil, and we need government, we need constructs to keep us from being evil, honestly. Because if it's up to us, if it's no consequences, we're going to act like the people acted last week. We're going to act like the lawmakers who endorsed it, who supported it, who thumbs upped it, who may have even directed them to go there. That's what happens when there's no consequences. Just think about all the things that you would do if there were no consequences for your actions. You think about The Purge. The reason why people went and watched The Purge, the reason why they got to make another Purge was because it's like, damn, I can relate to this because this is a day with no consequences and I can act up. But we have these people so upset about the response to the insurrection that they even mad about the insurrection. They mad about getting banned from social media and losing followers. Man, you lost yourself a long time ago before you lost your followers. How about this? How about you find yourself, and I promise you will find your followers. Because I told y'all last week, man, the job of a politician is to get elected. It ain't to serve us. The hell? Do some of them serve us? Yeah, some of them. But if you are a federal politician, come on, man. You here for you. Because if you try to help us, that money's going to dry up, and you probably ain't got no money because you can't, most politicians can't support themselves unless they've been there forever. Look at Money Mitch. Now, Mitch got some money. Mitch can do whatever he wants. But guess what? Look what Mitch doing. We had impeachment today. Look at the Lord have mercy. Impeached twice in the same year. Well, not the same year. Twice in the same term. And it was pretty much on party lines. Only 10 Republicans voted for impeachment. Why? If you look at why there was impeachment process, it was because of insurrection. Malign? No. So now I look at it as if you are a representative and you did not vote to impeach because of insurrection, are you saying that this was not insurrection? If you do not believe that was insurrection, I want you to communicate that to me. I'd like to hear your point of view because I personally don't understand it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I just want to hear it. But if you feel that it's insurrection and you didn't do anything about it, you're now promoting it. You're now allowing it. You're now violating the Constitution of the United States that you took an oath. You took an oath. You took an oath. And you're violating your oath. And based on the Constitution that you're supposed to be here defending, supporting, if I read it correctly, you should be removed from office. You should no longer be allowed to lead this country, make decisions on behalf of this country because you no longer have the country's best interest at heart. You have your best interest at heart. You have your favorite animal's best interest at heart. Now, don't get me wrong. You talk about the 25th. I read the 25th, and I think that was tough. I read the VP's statements on that, and I don't totally agree with what he said, but I'd be challenged to try to invoke the 25th Amendment given what happened last week. I think that's actually a tough sell. But the 14th? Come on, man. That ain't what it is. That's what it is. I mean, it's been brewing for months. It's been brewing for months. And for those of you who say, oh, it doesn't matter, we should just, let it, what else can happen in a week? It's not about what else can happen in a week. It's about our tax dollars because you care about your tax dollars. Oh, they want to take our money. They want to do this and that. Guess what happens? Don't you know what happens when presidents leave office? The securities that they get, the protection that they get, the money that they get. Yeah, who pays for that? Taxpayers. The taxpayers. So I just think that we got to get away from this two-party system. That's what it all boils down to, if we're being honest. Think about it. If you're a vegan and you show up to a restaurant and they say, you can have your choice of steak or fish. And you go, my name is Emmy and I'm a vegan. My name is Darian and I'm a vegan. I don't want that. He goes, well, these are only options. You eat or die. What happens? You take the lesser of the two evils, which I guess for vegans, they would go with fish. I know a lot of vegans who were pescatarians before they became full-on vegans. And that's what they did with their diet. You go, oh, well, I guess I'll go pescatarian, but I haven't eaten any type of meat in 5 years. I'm going to throw all of this up. And guess what? You eat and then you just throw it up and you don't even get the nutrition that you need because you took the lesser of two evils. We can't keep doing that in government. We need different perspectives. We need different people. We need different parties. The idea that democracy represent like two sides can represent millions of people, it's nuts. Me and my 7 best friends can't agree on what bar to go to. We can't agree on what bottle we gonna drink that night. Hell, we can't even agree on who gonna take the L that night because it's only 3 good-looking women and there's 4 of us. Y'all want the entire country to agree on 2 parties that have their own interest at heart? Come on, man. I can't do it. And look what we have here. Guess what? Even though they voted to impeach, the removal hearing isn't going to happen until after the inauguration. Why? Because Money Mitch gets to make the decisions. He gets to do what he wants. Is that what's best for the country? Is that what's best for the taxpayers? I don't know. I sure question it. And if you are so in love with a party, if you are so in love with a political figure, a leader. I want you to do this. I want you to fall in love with yourself. I want you to love yourself that much. Because I bet you won't go to bat for yourself the same way you go to bat for these people. And that's crazy, man. You really love these people more than you love yourself. I get loving your mama, your significant other, your kids, your best friend. I get loving these people. We out here falling in love with people we don't know. We are being fans. You're being fans because so-and-so said that also. I gotta do it. So-and-so ain't paying your bills, you paying his with your taxes that you don't want to pay. But man, it's time to take a total 180, man. I want to get into NBA culture, man. I had to hit these topics earlier, but let's get into NBA culture. Where does it come from? I think that NBA culture is some of the most entitled prima donna culture in American culture. Well, behind white privilege. Behind white privilege. It ain't that entitled, but behind white privilege, probably is NBA culture. And I just want, look at NFL culture. You work hard, your money's not guaranteed, you're about the team, and maybe it's the construct of the game that, hey, in football, man, you can be as great as you want to, but you can't win if the team's not right. Whereas in the NBA, if you got LeBron James, bro, you can throw me, Trevor, VJ, and Todd out there. Me, Trevor, VJ, Todd. Yeah, and we can still win some games. Yeah. So I just wonder where it comes from. Is it the AAU culture of, hey, bro, you got to come play with us, bro. We got the best team out here. We really want you. We need you. Is it the middle school, the high school coaches? Because I remember Coach Riddle, RIP. He was hard on our best player. Shout out to my dog, Rue. Probably don't want me talking about this, but who cares? I've seen them go at it at halftime. I seen him go at it in the huddle. He wasn't scared to check him. I mean, he didn't bench him. That would be stupid. But maybe that's what it is. Is it the shoe companies? Is it the one and done culture? Is it college? Is it the way they're treated in the NBA? I don't know. But it's gotten to a point to where, man, these NBA players, they do what they want, and it seems to not have any repercussions. And just like I spoke about earlier, we don't have consequences for our actions. We do whatever it is that we want to do. Why? Because we're innately evil. And I won't even say evil. We are naturally self-interested. So we're going to do what works best for us. Like what's most convenient for me? What do I like to do? I'm going to do what I like to do. Damn what everybody else said. And that takes me to Brother Kyrie Irving. I don't get Kyrie. I love to watch him play basketball. I think he is one of the most skilled, gifted offensive players that I've ever watched in my life. There are things that Kyrie can do that I don't think anyone else can do. So I'm not speaking to Kyrie as a basketball player. And I also want to make it clear that I'm not speaking about Kyrie the man, because the things that he does in his community, in this country, in this world, whether it's giving money to the WNBA, giving money to HBCU students, whether it's taking strong stances on things that matter in this country, I admire him. I respect what he does, but that doesn't come without some form of criticism. Hey, Kyrie, look, if what happened at the Capitol bothered you so much that you did not want to go to work, I get it. Take a couple of days off. Inhale, breathe in, breathe out. But damn, can you call somebody and let them know? I mean, most of us, we can't even get the day off because of things like that. And I think that's something that American culture needs to shift on. Like, hey, let me take a mental health day. Some stuff happened. I just need a woosah. And I'm not going to be my best me working for you today based on what's going on in my life. I understand being locked in your house for 9-10 months that you don't want to speak to people. You go through spells where you ignore your responsibilities and you ignore your boss. I've done it. I'm guilty. Y'all don't even charge me for it. I'm snitching on myself. I get it. But at some point, you got to understand, Kyrie, you have leverage. You're one of the highest paid people in that company. The company that is the Brooklyn Nets, you are one of the highest paid people. If they get rid of you, they still have to pay you. You gave your teammates the courtesy of letting them know, hey, bro, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm going through some stuff. Just tell your coach, say, hey, Steve, I ain't feeling this shit right now, dog. What are you going to do? You going to come pick you up at your house and make you come? No, he can't. You're a grown man. And I hate that so much of the good that Kyrie does not get acknowledged properly because of his poor messaging. He is awful at messaging. His optic situation is he doesn't care about optics. And I get that when you're doing good things for the right reasons, you don't always care about optics. But at some point, optics have to matter only because you don't want to dilute your message because people ain't seeing it right. It's like, hey, I can take my glasses off and I can look at this TV right here and I can see that the New Orleans Pelicans are playing the LA Clippers and the Clippers are winning 40-36. Paul George just passed the ball to Marcus Morris, but guess what? When I put my glasses on, I can see the court so much better. Why? Because these glasses help with optics. Kyrie, you got to put on some glasses, man, so you can help with your optics so that the good stuff you're not doing doesn't get forgotten because of, you don't talk to the media the way you should. You don't feel obligated to capitulate to the man, to the infrastructure, the system that's around you. Kyrie, I'm not mad about that. I'm not mad about that one bit that you don't want to conform because, hey, bro, I'm a nonconformist. I'm a contrarian. If you tell me to go left, I might just go right just because you told me to go left, even though I know I got to go right. Why? Because you ain't going to tell me what to do. I get it. But are you comfortable accepting the consequences that come with that? I've not spoken to Kyrie directly. I don't know Kyrie directly. I don't know anybody in Kyrie's camp. Hell, I don't even know if I know anybody who's been in the gym with him. But I do know that I listen to people who don't talk to Kyrie, who don't know Kyrie, speak about Kyrie. Like I heard Stephen A. Smith say today, he needs to retire. You retire, Stephen A. Now, do I approve of the way he handles himself? No. But I also don't approve of Stephen A. telling anybody what to do with their life and how to make their money. Because guess what? If somebody is going to pay me and allow me to not be as committed to them as I should be, and why would I stop? Why would I walk away from $30 million a year? Just because you expect me to show up to work every day. But look here, if you're not going to punish me, you're not going to fine me, you're not going to fire me, why would I show up? If just think about it. If you're in a job that you doing something that you like, but you get the opportunity to go do the things that you love, that you may not get paid for, that may actually cost you money, but continue getting paid doing what you like to do, but not totally committing to it, not being there every day, but you're still getting 85-90% of the benefits of it, you're getting your full pay, would you do it? Now, if you got paid, if you could just sit at home, I don't know, you could just take weeks off without talking to your boss and then just come back to work, but you don't get docked pay, you don't get a bad evaluation on your annual evaluation, you don't lose the opportunity to get the promotion that you're up for, would you not do it? And that's how I look at the Kyrie thing, man. And I've heard people say, hey, man, Kyrie should just retire or he should show up, which I think he should show up. And he could be the better activist as a basketball player? Maybe, but look at Cap. Kaepernick's message really took off even more after using the platform in which the NFL gave him, in which Nike gave him, and continues to give him, Nike, not the NFL. And then he, became a martyr. He lost the opportunity to play pro football. And don't get me wrong, he did some things he probably could have done better if he wanted to truly play football, but he was committed to his activist cause. And I'm not going to shut him. I'm not going to knock him. I'm going to let him do what he wants to do because, hey, look, man, that's him. That's his money. You do what you want. But is he any less effective? Is he any less meaningful to the culture, to society, to the people that he's trying to help because he no longer plays football? Absolutely not. I personally take him more seriously because he no longer plays football. And it's like, oh, bro, you willing to lose millions for this? Which is like, I equate it to somebody ready to die for this. You know what I mean? You know how people love to say, I'd die for this shit, man. I'd give up my last for this. Kaepernick done it. And I'm not saying that Kyrie should do it. I'm not saying that Kyrie has to do it. But I'm saying if he chooses to do it, his message is going to be just as strong as it would be if he didn't do it. I think it's strong. It would be stronger if he no longer played basketball. Why? Because it's like, man, you're in your prime. You're a top 25, 20, in my opinion, player in the NBA. You have the opportunity to win championships and you gave it up. Why? Because there's something that matters more to you. But I can't knock that. I can't knock it one bit. But hey, Kyrie, man, just communicate, man. Tell your boss what you got going on, man. And hell, selfishly, I want to see you back on the court, especially after this big trade. I want to see you. You know what I mean? On to his new teammate, Jimmy James Harden. Now, I think I came on here a couple weeks ago and ripped James Harden because he showed up. He didn't show up to camp on time. He showed up out of shape, overweight, and he was just being blatantly disrespectful to the franchise, to his teammates, and all of that. And the teammate of me says, bruh, really? Like, bro, you already said you can't win with us and you ain't even seen us. You see what Wall said last night? Wall was like, bro, it's 9 games, really? But what James Harden did in his press conference after getting slacked by the Lakers was terrible. Absolutely terrible. And I get you don't want to be there. I get you don't want to play for them. But man, you signed a contract. And when you sign a contract, and you got people like Boogie and John Wall, people who are seen as immature, not team leaders, leading the team that you allegedly led. They're being the team leaders because they're in there saying, hey, man, we trying to get it. Boogie's like, it ain't even about if we want to welcome him back. Like, Boogie like, man, I came here to play with John. I came here to try to do something special. And you don't even want to try. But guess what? You got what you wanted. You got what you wanted. And I hope you're happy. And I hope it really works out for you. Because, I mean, now you're playing with Kyrie Irving. You're playing with Kevin Durant. And I think that trade, I think it's a great trade for Brooklyn. Yeah, you traded a great 6-man, some draft picks that you don't care about, and a center who is better than your starting center, but your players didn't want to start, so it makes your locker room a little bit better situation. So here's what happens, right? Rockets get Oladipo, Dante Exum, Karukas, 3 Brooklyn first-round picks, and a Milwaukee first-round for Brooklyn first-round swaps. I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you, if it's not a high lottery pick in the NBA draft, the first round pick is fluff. It looks good, but it ain't shit. It's like parsley on a plate. You know how they garnish your plate with the parsley, and sometimes they may take some different I don't even know what it is. Like take a dessert, they take the different syrups and they be on the bottom of the plate, then they stick your cake on top of it. Man, you ain't worried about eating that damn syrup. You want the cake. First round picks are syrup. James Harden is the cake. The cake, the icing, buttercream icing, all that. That's what James Harden is. And the idea that you're gonna get some garnish and some side dishes for him, I don't know, Houston. I mean, shout out to the Pacers, bro. They got Karis LeVert, somebody who's they got rid of Victor Oladipo's expiring contract, got somebody who's under contract, somebody who's gonna come off and be that sixth man and get buckets, because apparently Oladipo wasn't meshing well with Brogdon and Sabonis. So good for them. And the Cavs, who cares what the Cavs are doing? They're a center factory, man. The Cavs front office and Detroit's front office, they just need to come together and just make two bad teams. You know, whatever they're doing over there, both teams terrible. Just fire everybody. Dan Gilbert, buy Detroit too, because I know you want to own the whole city, and you fire everybody, then sell both of the teams, and you just go away and be rich, and someone will see you no more. That's what you need to do, Dan Gilbert. But back to James Harden. I just think the Rockets got robbed, man. Just think about it. They make this trade a month ago when they could have. You get Dinwiddie too. You can get Dinwiddie. He's on the table then, but then he gets hurt and you can't get him. So you already got less. And then you had a trade that was available to you where you would get a star player. Ben Simmons. He's an all-star. He's all NBA. Guess who I would have taken? Ben Simmons, one of the best defensive players in the league, one of the most diverse defensive players in the league. He can guard anybody. He's 6'10". He can move left to right. He can jump up and down. He can't shoot, but he can play your point, or he can be your dump off four. Guess what he does for this small team that you have? He allows you to have John Wall, Ben Simmons. You can put Christian Wood out there. You can put Boogie if you want to. You want to have a non-shooting lineup and Eric Gordon or PJ Tucker. But he allows you to have PJ Tucker on the court as your four-man, and who's not a primary ball handler, right? Not a primary ball handler. But he allows you to have that smaller lineup, and then he makes up for the lack of size because he's freaking 6'10". Now, maybe you don't get to maximize John Wall with Ben Simmons, but I just can't trade. I mean, NBA history shows us that when you trade a superstar for spare parts, the spare parts never make the car run. The spare parts don't fix the car. You done traded away this luxury car, and you could, here, look at this, man. You traded a Maybach. You know what I'm saying, Maybach? No one said, yeah, you traded a Maybach, that's James Harden. You traded a Lambo, Ferrari, that's James Harden. And you could have got back Ben Simmons, who is a really nice Benz. Still a luxury car, different kind of luxury car, but a really nice luxury car. But instead, you traded your Maybach. You got Victor Oladipo, who I'll say is like maybe a C-class Benz or maybe a 3 Series Beamer. Some draft picks, which are like, we don't even know what they are. They like, the draft picks are like your antique cars. You know, you get a junker and maybe you got a 64 Impala SS, you know what I mean? Looking good on dubs. Got them 15s in the bag. You know what I mean? Or it just turns into a clunker because it just never works. So what would you rather have? Would you rather have a 3 Series Beamer, maybe a 5 Series on a good day, if he gets back to what he once was in Oladipo, and the opportunity to possibly get your ride pimped You know what I mean? You got these cards. You don't really know what it is. It ain't looking good right now. But a little bit happens here, a little bit happens there. Kyrie, KD, and James Harden leave the Nets. Those draft picks get better, and then you done got your ride pimp. So now that shit fire. Maybe. It's just not what I want. But dang, bro, I've been talking way too much. It's almost an hour. So what I say here is Houston lost. If you were going to hold out, you should have got more. But I get that James put you in a situation where you had to make a move right then and there. You didn't have a choice. But I really wish you would have made that move earlier. If you would have got LeVert, who you could have still flipped for Oladipo and then got Dinwiddie. I just think the fact that you didn't get Dinwiddie or you didn't go get Ben Simmons is just a failure on you, man. I really believe that. Lastly, let's get to these NBA protocols, man. Because the NBA has decided to up security. These rules we got, not good enough. We need more. So what has the NBA done? To increase safety with COVID, they've pretty much, for the next 2 weeks, players, team, staff are required to stay at home when they're in their home market, except for team-related activities at the facility, arena, or outside. You can go outside and do stuff, or your regular essential activities. But away from work interactions are limited to those who live with you, your family, any personal staff that you work regularly with in your home. When on the road, players, team staff are prohibited from leaving their hotel other than for team activities or emergencies or interacting with non-team guests at hotels. So pretty much what they're saying, hey, bro, when you pull into town, you can't call Shawty up. She can't pull up on you. Or you can't even pull up on your boys who may be in that town because you got ties to that town. And then for meetings, any pregame meetings in the locker room is limited to no more than 10 minutes, and all attendees must wear a face mask. All meetings involving players and team staff must continue to occur on the court in a league-approved space or at the arena in a room large enough to provide 6 feet of distance between individuals. Meeting attendees must continue to wear a face mask at all times. Question for you. Who's going to be in there watching the meetings? Who's going to police this? Who's going to make sure they're actually following these rules? Is somebody going to be at the hotel checking to make sure that guests can't come in? Are they going to rent out the entire hotel so that no one can get in? Because, hell, if I'm a millionaire NBA player and I want somebody to come to my hotel, I'm going to have them book a room under their name. I'm going to cash app it to them so they can book it, and then they can just come next door, baby. You finger smell me like that. If I want to see somebody, that's what I'm going to do. How do you police that? How do you police what we do in the locker room? Is somebody going to be in the locker room holding a timer, making sure we're meeting for 10 minutes? At these meetings, is somebody going to make sure that we're actually distancing our meetings? And on the road for team flights, teams must create a seating chart. You're grown men a seating chart. and here's my thing about this thing. They're still playing the games, right? They're still going out and playing basketball. You're not going to stop them from playing basketball. You're not going to stop them from practicing. So guess what they're going to do? They're going to lean on each other when they're sweaty. They're going to talk to each other. They're going to dap each other up after good plays. You still got free throws. They're going to be down there clumped up together. People are going to be packed in the paint. And what? We can't police that because that's part of the game, but we're going to try to police the stuff outside of the game. I'm okay with you policing the outside stuff out of the game. If you don't want to have people to have, if you don't want people to have guests, all right, I get it. It makes sense to me. If you don't want them out and about and on the road or in their home cities, I get that. But as much as you're testing these people, as these players every day at least, I think they could be around each other. And I get that, hey, sometimes players play and then they test positive for COVID. That's a problem. But they still on the court. It ain't like you pulled them off the court mid-game. You either find out before the game that they have it and you separate them, or you find out after they've already played, they've been exposed to other people. Now players can't dap up and hug after games on opposing teams. Bro, what? What kind of sense does that make? Then you got George Hill, and I'm not a George Hill guy. He missed some free throws in game 1 against Golden State. He's what else did he do? He was a ringleader behind the day off they took in the bubble because of social justice, which I did not have a problem with them standing up against social justice. But hey, bro, like, you blindsided the rest of the league. At least have that conversation. Get that out there, because you're that close to every other team. Let them know what you're planning to do. And at the end of the day, you were bothered by something, but you did not ultimately leave the bubble. So you made sure you got your NBA money, because you did not have to come to that bubble. You didn't have to come. You could have stayed. You could have stayed home and forfeited money, and that's fine. But he goes, they can't tell me I have to stay in a room 24/7. If it's that serious, then maybe we shouldn't be playing. No one's going to be able to just cancel their whole life for this game. Now, do I agree with that? Yes. Do I agree that we cannot cancel our whole lives because of COVID-19? Absolutely. And if you are somebody who follows this podcast, you know, I feel that way. I feel that we have to move as responsible as possible while accepting risk, because guess what, man? We just cannot shut off our lives. We cannot shut off our economy for over a year because of the damn virus. We don't close down roads because people have accidents. We try to make them safer. And we have to do the same with COVID-19. But look here, George Hill, if you really feel this way, how about you do this for me? Don't play. If you're not comfortable with what the league is doing and you want to speak out against it so adamantly, take your meals and go home. And I'm not the person who likes to say, get with it or get gone, but the league came up with their rules. I don't agree with them. I don't think they make much sense. And I get that the impact that it can have on you for them asking you to stay in your room. But the rules that I disagree with are not the rules that are saying, hey, you need to stay in your room when you go on the road. Hey, when you're home, just keep your activities to what's going on in your house, because guess what? They got billions of dollars they have to make, and they're protecting their investment. And not only are they protecting your investment, by protecting their investment, they're protecting your salary. Because without no season, bro, you don't get paid. But if you feel that strong about it, don't play. Now, if you want to talk about the stupid, we can't jersey swap, we can't dap up and hug and talk after games, Jason Tatum and Brad Beal having a little conversation was problematic. I get it. I totally get you having an issue with that. But them trying to keep you safe, not even safe, just keep you away from the virus when you're not under the care of the team, bruh, I get it, man. I totally get it. But George Hill, shut up. Just shut up. Sorry, when I was talking about Kyrie, I did not hit on him being at that party without a mask on. He was around family. I have no words for that, because guess what? I was home for Christmas. I was around family. Did I take my mask everywhere I went? Yes. But was my mask on every single environment that I was on? Absolutely not. But to close this out, I'm going to go back to Insurrection Outrage, man. Don't be so upset with the response to the problem as you are with the problem itself. Because we're all going to respond different ways. We're all going to look at what we think is the best route for fixing the issue. But at the end of the day, you need to be more upset with the disgusting things that people have done and the disgusting things that people are capable of than the responses to their disgusting actions. If you want to be disgusting, just go ahead and join them. But be open about it. Don't be subtle about it. Don't be mad at me because I didn't like what they did, and I try to put together measures to stop that from happening. You're saying I'm trying to control people. Guess what? I'm trying to control people who are trying to kill people. Big baby ad.